talk about DNA because DNA, RNA, protein. Alright, and then this protein is from this, and okay, the DNA gets modified. And then we go from the DNA back to the springs, and then from the springs we go to quantum field theory, but today it's not about quantum field theory, it's about epistemology. And epistemology is actually, well, we're talking about philosophy. So we start off with this data, we go back and we look at the DNA and we go to something in physics. But today we're going all the way from physics, this idea here, well, we're going to talk about philosophy, which is the epistemology. And why? Because what I'm trying to talk about here is in epistemology, we're asking questions like, what can we know? And how can we know it? Alright, so there's the question. You say, well, okay, another way of talking about epistemology is they say, well, the theory of knowledge. Alright. So, let's talk about some kinds of things we can know. We know Washington is the capital of USA, Washington, D.C. is the capital of USA. You say, well, that's okay, big deal. Well, okay, we know 2 + 2 = 4. Well, that's a good one. Everybody knows that. These things are easy to check, but then, well, somebody might say, well, okay, I know God, or something like that. Well, now we have a problem. We have a problem where we're here at this level of knowledge, and now we're talking about God, you see. Well, that's a tough one. But somewhere in between this very difficult question and these very easy questions is a question that is perhaps easier to deal with, and that question, of course, is, since nobody really knows me, the question they could ask, is there really a cure for cancer? That is a non-toxic. Is there really a cure for cancer? Right? Or am I just making it up? And by cure I mean non-toxic. Non-toxic cure. Okay? Panacea. Panacea. Does it exist? Could there be such a thing? See? And philosophers deal with these kinds of issues. Okay? The one about God, well, that's too difficult for me. 2 + 2 = 4. Alright. Well, we can figure that one out. That's maybe an easy one. These are simple kinds of questions. Right? Now, when you ask this question, now it's a little bit more complicated. Well, what do we know? Well, we know that it's not in the newspaper. There's no newspaper that has mentioned a cure for cancer. So we can say, well, look, I didn't read about it in the newspaper. I didn't see it on TV. I I didn't see it on TV. Okay? And that's what people will say. Now, my question is this a valid argument against this question? I didn't see it on TV. Alright? Is this a valid argument against my proposition? My proposition is that there is a panacea. There is a cure for cancer. That's my proposition. This is the question. The answer, or people's argument would be, well, I didn't see it on TV, and therefore it doesn't exist, right?
The teachers also don't teach that.
Well, okay, they didn't hear it in school either.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But is this really, like I said, is this argument really valid? And the problem with that is that we're in a kind of a 50-50 situation. Either it exists or it doesn't. See? We're in a 50-50 situation. The probability that it exists is 1/2. That's not bad when you look at other probabilities that are out there, like maybe buying a lottery ticket. Chances of getting a lottery are, say, 1 in, I don't know, 20 million or whatever. 1 in 10 to the 9, I don't know, 1 in a billion, see? But this probability is much better to gamble with. See? Either the experts are right or the experts are wrong. If I'm right, the experts are wrong. Well, if the experts are right, then I'm wrong. It's very simple. See? I can be drawing springs and quantum field theory equations for years here, but who would care? But this is what the average person is going to think about, see? Whether they agree with me or not isn't really the point. The point is that this study of the theory of knowledge is the way you can attack this problem. This is one way to attack the problem. That is, this is one way to attack the problem, whether or not there's a cure. And I don't mean a kind of cure where your hair falls out all the time and you're sick and you die in 2 years, you see. Whether or not there's a total non-toxic cure. It's one way to study it without having a lot of scientific background, right? That's what a person could discuss in philosophy class. Philosophy classes in all the universities around the world, they could ask this question. And they could write essays on this question. Without having to know a lot of quantum mechanics. I just talk about quantum mechanics because I like it, but a lot of people probably don't.
But you assume there is a cure.
No, I didn't assume. I just asked the question.
Yeah.
I propose there is.
Mm-hmm.
I have data, but people don't know that really. I mean, you see me put things on the board, but what do they know? This could be all a joke. This could be all a scam, right? But my point is that the probability that this is a scam is only 50%. The other 50% is I might be telling the truth, see? That's the point. So the point is that it's like saying, does X exist? This is the question, and X is, or let me put it this way, is X true? Is proposition X true? Proposition X is, there exists security.
But is it possible to hide the fact for such a long time?
Okay, good question, and now I remember what I was going to say before, because I didn't really work on it. But like, here I go again. One of my favorite topics. Here's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Here's Galileo, dropping the big ball and the little ball, right back in 1600. And now you said, is it possible to hide the truth? Well, how long did it take people to realize before 1600 and after 1600 that, well, you let them go, and what happens? They hit at the same time. That's what Galileo claimed, right? What he was saying then was that, well, Aristotle was wrong. Well, wait a minute. When did Aristotle write his stuff down? Like maybe 300 BC or whatever, something like that, right? So for 300 years, and then you add up another 1600, and now for roughly 2,000 years, people have been believing that the big ball will hit first, and the little one is up there somewhere, you see? So can the truth be hidden? Well, there's an example. Now that doesn't prove I'm right. That doesn't prove that what I'm saying about a cure for cancer is right, but it demonstrates to you that can the truth be hidden? Sure. And they made Galileo what? They made him say, no, it was all a mistake, sorry, I know, you know. Because they were going to kill the guy, probably. See? So, yeah, the truth can be hidden, sure. And then again, now, well, if we can't do the experiment, the people out there, they can't take this medicine because they don't know how to get it. But they can do epistemology. There must be some of those guys out there that know something about philosophy, you see. That's why I wanted to talk about epistemology today, because this is an important question, is does this exist? What I'm talking about, does it exist? You know, so the big ball and the little ball hit together, right?
So you think there are a lot of people who had already known the truth?
Oh yeah, they know. There's people out there that know. There's people out there that know what I know. Yeah, I know what I know, but I know there's other people that know too.
They just keep silent.
Well, yeah, because they can't, because they're bought and paid for by the establishment, right? I mean, and even if they were, even if they were going to say something, they would be discredited by the power structure or whatever.
Do they share benefits with maybe big companies? Otherwise, why do they need to keep
silent? It's an MIB thing. MIB, Men in Black. You get a knock at the door, and there's two big guys standing there saying, hi. We were wondering if we could talk to you for a while, you know?
So if you are telling the truth, maybe you are hurting other people's business.
Yeah, well, but they'll be nice for the first meeting, I'm sure. But in the second or third meeting, they might decide to, you know, get a little tough, right?